Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a review of Maximal Cheetor Black version. Of course, I'm just kidding, everybody. This is, of course, the Predacon Shadow Panther. However, I think you would be forgiven if you wanted to call it what I jokingly did at the beginning, because as you can see, here he is with the stock Cheetor, here he is with the Netflix, and just for good measure, here he is with the OG. Now, he'll come back into play later on, especially considering the significant feature that is different from Cheetor in robot mode. But before we get into the fine details, how does he look with other Predacons? And I think he looks extremely slick, especially how all three of them have the black color scheme tied together with their baddie secondary colors. So, looking good. However, I did notice one more thing that we need to take a look at. And could we look at Shadow Panther without at least comparing Ravage and the G1 equivalent being Nightbird, because they're all stealthy individuals and, you know, that's like their whole stick. So I kind of find it interesting because in some versions, like a lot of the, I believe it's the American ones, this is supposed to be Ravage, but in Japanese continuity, it's like his son. But we have to look at him as a individual beast first, because I love how the detail is still kept there. The red eyes are obviously the draw, but the mouth has been completely kept in that same black molded color. He looks pretty good with it. So I think the beast mode definitely gets an A. However, how does Shadow Panther do in robot mode? You know, I've always liked the Cheetor design from Kingdom, so the fact that Shadow Panther gets to rock it now, I mean, just look at some of the details in these different colors that are very drastically different from Cheetor, and we'll get back to this, don't worry. But one thing I did want to bring out is our boy is rocking a pretty sick Predacon tat on his right forearm there. That definitely he feels like a fusion of the two, because he's pulling a lot of the silvers that Nightbird has got with the yellows, even though that is nothing more than straight coincidence. Because you look at all the other, like the Masterpiece and everything else, and he's sporting this color scheme. So here he is with the more typical Predacon variety, and I have to say that had he been a character in the show, he looks like he would have just fit in with this gnarly bunch, and we probably would have been alright with it. So I said that we would get back to his noggin, right? Which, as you can notice, obviously there's a difference with their heads, right? Well, if you take Cheetor here and flip down, he has a mutant head. Same with Cybertron over here. And you can now kind of see the head that this toy is referencing. Which, speaking of Cybertron, the Amazon orange version of him actually sports a mutant head like this. And here he is with the Netflix Cheetor, which the one thing that we were just talking about with Cybertron is that with both versions of Cybertron, the mutant version and the standard version, they corrected the issue that was wrong with all the Cheetors, is that he didn't have any guns. However, that does not help Shadow Panther over here, so just to balance him out, we're going to let him borrow one of Cheetor's other guns, which, you know what, he would actually kind of look sick with a golden weapon, which would be referencing Ravage in his Transmetal 2 form, which, speaking of Ravage, one thing I forgot to mention, I'm actually looking forward to the Generations upcycle of this thing, even though a large majority of it is this figure just extensively retooled, so this is kind of like a placeholder to tide me over until that happens. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, Shadow Panther in his own right is very cool, and as you can see with his details, he is just slaying it so awesome. So in typical fashion, guys, we are ending this review on a battle scene, and I have to say that I am so happy that we are getting so many non-show characters like Grimlock, T-Rex, and now Shadow Panther over here. It's really cool. So if you guys actually find him in the store, is he worth a pickup? Then yeah, I'd suggest picking him up, because he is a just decent little bit of fun figure. So other than that, guys, I really think that's all I have to say. So until next time, we'll see you guys in another review.